Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is September the 5th, 2024. The Cardinals are 2 games above 500 at 71 and 69, yet still 5.5 back in the wild card with 3 teams to jump. How are we feeling this morning?
I'm kind I don't know. I feel like it's kind of annoying that last year the Diamondbacks got in with 84 wins, and this year it seems like it might take 88 wins to get in. Because if they was still like 84 was the number that they needed, they'd have a chance right now. They'd have a pretty good chance to get there. But I don't know. Like I think it's a little too late, maybe
You,
this run
you
they're going
think?
on. Like
So
Goldie and Arenado finally starting to, especially Goldie, finally starting to produce. Like they had to do it in the first 5 months, and they waited till the sixth.
it does feel that way. 22 games left. What did you just? I do not remember. I picked them to go 80 and 82. I feel like that's still probably a pretty good pick. They could exceed 80 wins. However, this weekend we are facing Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, and
Mariners
Luis
team.
Castillo. I'm just letting you know. Like I'm letting you know. We're starting. Like we'll get to what we're doing
Cardinals have a
in a
better
little bit.
record than the Mariners, by the way.
I understand. I'm just letting you know. What did you say? I do not remember like what
I
your
don't
pick
know. I
was.
think I said 85 or 86.
I thought it might have been 88.
Maybe. I don't know. I really don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to it. Like you brought it up, Paul Goldschmidt, and I did tweet out the other day, and I will continue to bookmark this tweet that I did fear that a late run by Paul Goldschmidt would really talk the Cardinals into not extending, because I do not believe they're going to let him get to free agency, because extending him, you have to pay him what 80% of his like salary. They're
Like
not going to do
70.
that.
I think it's
Yeah,
70%.
whatever it is. They're not going to do that. But they could obviously let him get to free agency. He did say he wants to keep playing.
Hmm.
Where do you stand on the Paul Goldschmidt in 2025 as a St. Louis Cardinal?
I bring him back if he was okay with being a platoon bat and he was being paid as that. And if it's
Okay.
anything more than that, I'm not bringing him back. Like I like Goldie. I think maybe he's figured something out, and maybe next year he'll have an 800 OPS. I maybe that could happen, but like if he's back here, I want him and Burleson to be platooning at first, and it also means that you're trying to win if you bring him back. So, um, I I don't think I would bring him back even then, but if you bring him back, both sides need to be on the same page, and the salary needs to be reasonable. He can't come back as the middle of the order everyday player, Paul Goldschmidt, because he's not that.
Okay, you just gave us the Caleb Noble thoughts. Now, what do you think the Cardinals will do?
I think he'll go somewhere else.
Okay, you
I,
you believe they're ready to move on from Paul Goldschmidt and do that?
I mean, I think there's too many guys that they would be willing to put at first base that they like that are young for them to like care too much about losing Paul Goldschmidt, to be honest.
Okay.
I also think like their salary is gonna have to go down. We're hearing that basically with every single quote that comes out from Mozeliak. Um, so why would you spend that money on Paul Goldschmidt when you have
Which
Burleson?
brings me to something I wanted to get your take on. Randy Carricker, big name in the St. Louis media,
Mhm.
obviously, essentially came out. And I saw it on Facebook. I assume it was on Twitter too. I did not see it on Twitter, but I saw it on Facebook that he believes they're going to slash $50 million from this year's payroll. And in his mind, he believes that essentially everyone that is on this roster on the 40-man roster will be on the 26-man, and with the exception of Paul Goldschmidt, will be gone, and that he could foresee them going into next year's rotation with Gray, Fetty, Michaelis, Matz, Palante. Where do you like, and not adding in, essentially adding anyone? The list that he gave is 26, included Fermin, Sajaci, Herrera, Luke and Baker, guys like that on your bench. Like now, obviously, that is what he's reading his own tea leaves. I'm just wanted to get your take because Randy's a pretty big name in the St. Louis media. Um, People have their own opinions on him. That is fine. I just kind of wanted the Caleb Noble take on that.
Randy should look at what those players are making because it would not be $50 million they're cutting if he did all that, considering Sonny Gray makes like $15 million more.
He did, to be fair, he did say, knowing that Sonny's contract was going up and things like that, but he thought that like the slashing, I'm sure there were others on that roster that are not on there now. That's what I'm gonna say.
I mean, one, I don't care because I don't think he has any like inside information.
We
Um,
agree.
like, and it's not that I don't think he knows people and has sources. I think a lot of times people take like even Brad Thompson, who's as plugged in as anybody can be, because he's there every day, talks to everyone. They take what they say at face value and like, well, they know something. They don't. Mosaic doesn't tell them shit, and he won't ever.
Right.
So, like I respect both of them, but they anything they're saying to you is not a source. They're not. Mosaic's not telling them we're cutting $50 million in payroll. He's not going to tell them that. Um,
By the way, to be fair, Randy did say my opinion.
yeah, that's what I'm
He
saying.
did not act like
I know.
somebody had
I'm.
told him that.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying a lot of people
I know.
see
I
big
just wanted to
names.
get that out. I don't want to misquote.
They see big names like him and Bernie and these guys, and they assume that that means that they know something. A lot of times they don't because they're not. That's not how the Cardinals operate. They don't tell people things. Um, But my opinion is I don't give a shit what they spend. I don't care. I'm over it. I'm over caring. I don't care. I actually don't spend because when they do spend, Miles Michaels has to pitch. So stop spending. I don't want to see them spend anything. Stop. Don't spend. What are they going to spend on Max Fried? He'll be hurt for 30 starts. So don't spend any money and let me see a young guy, please. What I'd rather them do is eat money. I want Michaelis gone. I don't want them to spend any more money on Michaelis and Lynn and Gibson and even the Feddies of the world. I don't want it anymore. I'm done. I'm tired of it. Just don't spend. Great. Or bring someone in that if you're going to spend next time the Cardinals spend and free agency, someone else needs to be spending the money. It can't be Mozeliak. So I don't
And
want them to spend in the offseason.
which
That's
puts us back into what we talked about last week in the lame duck Mo tenure that we're about to experience in 2025. Now, let me ask you this too, because this one kind of drives me a little bit crazy. And maybe it's just me being get off my lawn, Walt Kowalski. Like maybe that's who I'm being in this, right? But I also see people in what are certain media circles talking about how they do not believe the Cardinals fans can handle a tank. I feel like does nobody not like this isn't a tank. If they were to go with the young players, also, by the way, there's a baseball lottery where 18 teams get in the lottery. There's no more tanking in baseball. Like that's not a thing. This
there
isn't
is, it just won't
football.
work
This
anymore.
isn't the NBA. This isn't the NHL. Well, I mean, even those teams have lottery, but you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, right? Like there's not, can we stop calling it tanking, please? Because that's not what it be. I almost believe that the Cardinals fans would accept playing all the young guys every night, knowing that hey, we're trying to get out of this TV deal and get a new one, which that's paramount as far as I'm concerned.
Those are
Well, we
stupid.
got to see what we have instead of going out and spending on Lance Lynn, who by the way still love Kyle Gibson, also still love, just didn't work out the way we wanted it to. But
Yeah.
guys like that, like the
I'm tired of
35 year
watching
olds,
them.
and then playing them over the young guys mind-numbingly for 120 games. Like I don't you believe that the fans would say, okay, we see the future, we got to see what we have. I think people would show up to watch Victor, Jordan, Mason, Lucan,
I mean,
Sajacy, fill in the blanks, right? Or am I completely not reading this right?
people aren't showing up the way that we want them to and the way that Cardinals want them to until John Mozeliak is gone. I don't know how any businessman could have him still be here next year. I genuinely don't. Like, if you want him to be brush him off to be Bill DeWitt the third's buddy, and he's just getting paid still fine. But if he's still the Pobo, I don't care what direction they're going. They're not gonna show up. People are tired of him. That's just what it is. He's been here for too long. And he talks down to fans too often. He's horrible with messaging. And to be quite honest, he's done a pretty poor job lately. For what he's actually doing. Like before, it was he had all this arrogance, like apparent arrogance. I've never met the guy, but just the way he talks. And people could deal with it because he was doing a good job. They were getting in the playoffs every year. Now people that didn't like him for reasons that weren't baseball and job related now really don't like him because he's doing his job poorly too.
Right.
So he needs to go. Like I'm not saying he needs to be fired. He cannot be the Pobo next year. If he is, I don't care what the direction is. I don't think fans are showing up.
So in your mind, if they were to go I'm not going to call it rebuild because it's not. Guys like Newbar, Donovan, Mason, George, that's not a rebuild. That's just
That's what
kind
they
of
have
a
now. It's just no more
right.
bullshit.
Agreed. So if you're going with let's call it the youth movement, whatever you want to call it, right? If that's the way they decide to go, you believe people aren't going to show up for that, nor are they going to show up if they go out and sign 5 free agents to make what they believe the team better. You think until Mo is gone. Now, let me ask you this:
It depends on who the free agents are. If they sign Max Fried and Juan Soto, yes, people would show up, but they're not going to do that.
100% they're not going to do either. So do you believe it is more of a we are boycotting Mo, or at this point it almost feels like we're boycotting the DeWitts, who we've seen the third make some of the dumbest comments an owner could ever make?
I don't think they're boycotting anyone specifically. I think they're boycotting complacency.
Okay,
The organization's complacent. They
apathy.
have been for years. They're apathy. Yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah,
we're tired.
we agree.
I'm not. I don't speak about. I don't really, whatever. Like I still watch the games. I'll still go to the games when I'm in town. But people are just tired of it. And to be fair, like a lot of people that go to Cardinal games aren't tuned in as much as we are, and most people watching this podcast are. Like the 45,000 every night when they're selling out. 10,000 of those people watch more than 100 games probably. The other 30,000 people probably don't watch them more than the 3 times a year they go into the games. A lot of them. They hear all this stuff about how the DeWitts are cheap. They're not really. How Mozeliak is this evil demon mastermind. Like they hear these things and they buy into it. Like their friends
Right.
tell them this. And a lot of times they probably don't have any clue what's going on, but they know that everyone's angry, so they're going to follow suit like everyone else and not go to games anymore. If that narrative were to shift and it were to be like, okay, this new smart guy is in and they have a bunch of young players, then it would be once again like a hive mind of people coming back to the stadium. The organization saved, I feel like a lot of that is just like a mob mentality of they hear how much they're supposed to hate Mo and Ali, and the DeWitts are these cheap people. You think the DeWitts were like the Rays or owners,
Right.
the way some
For the
people talk about
Pirates.
them. And so they just don't come. I think that's a lot of it too.
Yeah. It's wild to see the crowds, but at this, especially when you are in a pennant race, it's going to be interesting to see when they come home to play the Mariners. I really am intrigued. Weekend series, you're theoretically, and I understand that we both believe they're not going to make it. When you have to jump, the Cubs who just threw a no last night, by the way, shout out to Imanaga and
Well,
those
hold on
guys.
1 second. Combined no hitters don't count.
Okay, still shout out.
No,
It does count. They
no, it
called just
doesn't.
a combined no hitter.
No, it doesn't. It just means the other offense was really bad.
Either way,
Like
shout
that's
out to
all it
them.
means is the other
You still
offense was
have to
good.
climb them. You've got to climb the Mets, and then you've got to climb either the Braves, right? That's who you're
Just
looking
the
at.
Braves, yeah.
So, the chances are now. Remember, in 2011, we needed a miracle in that weekend to get in. This is different.
Well, here's the thing: the Cardinals need to win. Like, they need to go on a win streak. If they win 10 in a row, they will look and see where we're at.
Right.
And then they might be 2 games back if the Braves have a mediocre 10-game stretch. But I don't know, they're playing good baseball. I'm still invested. Like it legitimately does take, one sweep by the Cardinals and one sweep by the Braves to turn it on its head. Like one sweep of the Braves. And then you're looking at your 2 games back and then you don't know. Like I'm still watching the games and they still have a chance, but it would take the Cardinals winning 8 to 10 in a row and then looking and hoping the Braves lost 4 of those games. That's what it's going to take.
Goldie's gotten hot. Was it interesting to you to see Jose Fermin in the like that's the first thing that popped out to me. Like I'm not one of the lineup guys who every time the lineup is released, people come up with a reason to be pissed at it. I don't do that. But I was intrigued that with 23 games left, like a day off today, you're in a massive pennant race. Honestly, fighting potentially if you're Ali for the survival, maybe of your job. We don't know that. Maybe. And Jose Fermin is in the lineup. I mean, what are we doing? I get it. They won. So my argument is literally moot, but
they were putting Arenado at the DH is what they were doing. That's the only way they could do it. And it came at the expense of Jordan Walker, which is funny.
That's where, okay, you could put Donovan at third base.
Who you put in a second for me.
See, this is the problem.
Donovan plays second base because Gorman's in the AAA.
Then let Nolan Arenado play third base every day. He needs to be there every day.
Or, yes, I mean, there's an off day today. Or, put Nolan Gorman back on the team.
It's like things like that. But the problem is you got away with it. You stole one last night. But
they didn't steal it. They almost got it stolen from them.
That's true. I mean, that's true.
They were up 2-0 the entire game, basically.
To win 2 extra inning games is wild. Also for the Cardinals, that has not been.
Ryan Fernandez, a bright spot for yesterday. 2 bright spots. One, Luke and Baker come up with a big hit again, which is awesome to see. And then 2, Ryan Fernandez looked fantastic for the first time in a long time. Now you get one back end reliever looking good, and then JoJo looks horrible. So you've got it's like whack-a-mole with these relievers right now. But
well, that's how most. I'm honestly. when you have most of your starters going 5 innings again, that's what
Sonny
happens.
went 7 yesterday. He was
Yeah,
great.
I understand. I'm not saying yesterday. I'm saying as a whole.
Also,
Yeah,
another
Sonny was
bright
great. That
spot.
was another bright spot.
2 back-to-back Sonny starts where he looks great.
I love the people who want to say he should have gone out for the 8th. Don't you? Like, what are we doing?
I mean,
Like
it's just he had thrown 100 pitches and had given up a run in the 7th. If there's ever a warning sign not to send him back out, it's that. That's all I'm gonna say.
well, you know what happens, right? You send him back out and they
No, you
score a
just
run.
don't.
What are we doing? Right.
You don't
I
send it back
agree.
out.
We
Was he gonna throw
agree.
120 pitches?
We agree. It's like these people are so results based outcomes. You know what I mean? Like that's all they look at instead of the process. Like there are
Yeah.
times what you do is perfect and it doesn't work. People seem to not understand that.
And there are also times where you make a dumbass decision and it doesn't
Of
work. Like
course.
Jose Fermin starting. That's stupid. He
And it
shouldn't.
works out. Right.
It
We
worked out though.
agree. We agree.
Well, it kind of worked out. Not really. He didn't do anything.
Everyone should watch Luke and Baker run. That is the greatest. That should be an Olympic sport. That man lumbers like I want to see him and Pages. Here's what I want to see. I want to see a 40-yard dash of Pop Warner, Pages, and Luke and Baker.
Can't run 40 yards anymore.
I bet he can. I bet he can.
I don't think he can.
But
he walks and he has some hip problems.
That man lumbers all the way. I love it. I love Luke and Baker, and I'm happy he's having success. Was it 6 straight games with an RBI? Is that right?
Maybe. I don't know. He's really good.
I think so.
Against lefties. You know what's even more frustrating? How big of an impact has he had since he's been just against lefties?
No, don't even get me going, bro.
And like you had how many months to try this out and you just didn't? Like what if what if he would have contributed? How many games did they lose like 1 or 2 runs where if you had one big hit with bases loaded, it could swing the game? Like what if he would have contributed to 3 different wins and you're looking up right now and you're 2 games back instead of 5.5? Like
they sat on their ass for 100 their pride for 120 fucking games, being one of the worst in baseball against left-handed pitching when you had a guy breaking the minor league home run record and didn't even give him a chance. Like that's where we are right now. So that's on Ollie.
Complacency. No.
It's on all of them. It's on all of them.
You don't think Ollie wanted a left-handed bat that could hit home runs?
Do what?
Right-handed bat? You don't think Ollie wanted a right-handed bat that could hit home runs?
So you think that's all on Mo? You think that's all on?
Okay, he's complacent.
Then he should be immediately fired.
And he doesn't know what he's doing. Like legitimately, we got to a point he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. I don't understand. I don't know what happened to him, to be honest. And I don't want to. I guess I can't go too hard, but I don't understand.
You need a job.
He's not going to pay me. I tell you that much. Yeah, no. I don't understand how he has gotten to a point where the things he does don't even make sense anymore. Why was Brandon Crawford ever even on this roster? Ever? Why?
Oh, can I answer? Like, unless your question was rhetorical.
Because you need a backup shortstop.
Here's what I will say. From everything I've read, and this could be like just whatever, but I will take it for the truth. His impact on Mason Wynn was what I'm gonna let me just finish my sentence.
Bullshit.
His impact probably greater than Matt Carpenter's impact on this team. If we're gonna be honest.
I don't know. Maybe if Brandon Crawford wasn't there, we'd be hearing the same shit about Matt Carpenter.
Who did Matt Carpenter impact?
Burleson. He was the one. They literally said he told Burleson to stop swinging at so many balls. Which, by the way, people have been telling Burleson to do for 6 years.
And he's back doing right now. By the way, he's back swinging at everything.
That's just what his slumps look like. He tries to hit his way out of it.
Like I'm a big Alec Burleson fan. I think he's a much better hitter than he's showing right now. But I think
he's a 6 hitter on a good team.
Agreed, and probably a platoon bat.
And like a really
cannot hit lefties.
Like he's a really good guy to have batting 6th or 5th. Like a guy that can drive in runs, they can put the ball in play and hit it hard, and he can go on hot streaks. The problem is they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters are all those guys that are like 6 hitters.
Correct.
Or
we back to the Luke and Baker thing. You're right. It's mind numbing and it's frustrating because we all were like, "Hey, why? Like, can we not at least try it? Like, maybe he's on the 40 man. Let's go ahead and give it a 2-week shot, maybe." And it was like, no, we have our team. Meanwhile, we're watching Pedro Pop, who did hit 2 home runs the other night. And I like Pedro.
He's been really good.
He's been very good. But at the time when this was happening, he was not hitting very well. So and you had Herrera and you had Contreras.
Yeah. And the 2 catcher thing's stupid anyway. Like it's stupid. Like having 2 catchers in lineups shouldn't happen. Like it just shouldn't.
we agree on
Except
that
for
as well.
when Contreras is doing really well, I get it because he's your best bat. But still, like just start him at catcher, maybe. Like
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do there. I think Herrera is all of a sudden become the odd man out, and I don't get it.
I
Like,
don't. Also, once again, this seems like a Mo thing again because he's batting fifth. Like they're batting him fifth and sixth every night. So you tell me Ollie didn't want him on the team when he thinks he's a top six hitter on the team? He's
that's
batting
a
fifth
really
and
good
sixth.
point.
When Pajas starts, he's batting eighth or ninth. Who do you think Ollie wanted? The guy that bats fifth or the guy that bats eighth?
Yeah,
He's only
good
batting
point.
eighth because Michael Ciani's here and he also can't hit. By the way, great game for Michael Ciani the other night. But
Yeah, let's talk about that. Can we talk about that? That's a good transition right there. That's
yeah,
good podcasting. Well done, because that
thank you.
was in my notes, and you did not know that.
I didn't.
Two things on Siani. Let's first, was it a catch?
Yes.
Okay, I say no.
Hit the ball in his glove for like 3 seconds. He's the guy's out.
Is
But
that
okay,
is that
I got two things. One, I think yes, I think it was a catch. Two, why did he throw it out of his glove like that? He
what?
had it and he just like flung it. For
I don't
what?
think he threw it. I thought that might have been momentum, like the way
No,
he
he
hit.
had it and then his glove like flung backward. It was so
Yeah.
weird. Just don't move. Like if you have it in a glove, just
Well, I'm
stay.
sure that's what he was trying, but he was running however many feet he
Okay, but
ran.
if you're
And
running and you're diving this way, why's your glove moving that way?
well, I think he got from what my take. I think he got closer to the ball than he thought he was going to. So on the dive, his momentum carried him this way, and the arm went this way instead of normally the layout where your
I
arm goes
guess.
straight. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, but
That's what I thought.
his arm was like fully extended when he caught it.
Yeah, I
That was a
don't know.
great catch, or almost catch.
Incredible to get to that
Like,
ball.
no one else gets even close.
I don't think it's a catch because I thought you had to like carry it all the way through. He did not. But I still don't know what a catch in the NFL is. So
But
I
he had
now
it in his,
don't know what it is in the MLB either.
but he had it in his glove like for like 3 seconds. It wasn't like
Is that the
it
rule?
popped out. It was like 3 seconds, and they said
That's
the
what I'm
rule
asking.
no, the rule is it's a dumb rule. I think is that it has to be like a transfer. Like you have to be attempting to take it out of the glove. If it's dude, I'm sorry, but if I catch the ball and I'm just sitting there and then I don't try to take it out, but it just falls out of my glove, I still fucking caught the ball.
At least they won the game.
I
But
know,
I
but
agree.
that's a catch. Like change that rule. That's stupid. There should be some kind of discretion involved. If he's there sitting with the ball in his glove for like legitimately 2 to 3 seconds, the guy's out. He didn't
Do
drop
you
it.
do you seriously want these umpires to have discretion?
If they did, I think they would have called him out.
Interesting.
Like because like here's the, like it's a drop. Like that's what it would be called. Like he didn't drop the ball. There's not one human being that watched that game that said he dropped the ball. It was just semantics.
MLB got rid of Angel Hernandez. Shout out to them. Can we do the same with Doug Eddings? Because that man is terrible at his job, and he's also a horrible example of an umpire. Him screaming at Paul Skeens, who was just kind of like, who didn't look like he'd been
It's
yelled
a
at
weird transition, by the way.
I'm sorry, it was an umpire thing. That's how my brain works. Like, get him out, get him out. The game doesn't need him. That was embarrassing for the game.
Was he the one that baited Mad Bum last year?
He is what they call a master baiter.
Master Vader. Yeah. Was that him that he was the one that got Mad Bum kicked out last year?
100% it was.
Okay, yeah. Then yeah, he needs to go.
And he's done it his entire career. I don't know if he's only 5'5", and no offense to people who are 5'5", because I'm only 5'11", and I think you're 5'9" on a good day. So I'm not making fun of shorter people by any means. I'm just saying it does appear like he could be the guy in the bar that we all know who that is. Do you know what I mean?
I just don't get like how you. I'm ignoring that. I like Jose Altuve. I don't want to
fair, but I don't think Jose Altuve is that guy in the bar. So I was not talking about
I don't
him.
know, maybe.
Doubt it.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I just don't understand why umpires enjoy ejecting people. I feel like that should be like something you're kind of ashamed of having to do.
Also, just like there, yeah. What we move on. What are your thoughts on Michael Ciani starting over Victor Scott immediately?
I think we can have two different conversations. Okay, one, we can acknowledge that Michael Ciani's earned the job. He has. Okay, we can acknowledge that fact. And two, we can also acknowledge that probably what's best for the Cardinals' future is Victor Scott playing center field with the rest of the season. Now, if the Cardinals once again go on a 5-game winning streak and it looks like they might be actually in this thing, then Michael Ciani should be playing. If they actually get back into the race, I don't think they're in the race. I think they have no chance of getting back in it, to be honest. So, I'd be playing Victor Scott. But I do think it's fair to say like Michael Ciani's earned the job. So I'm not debating that. So anyone that's in the comments that's going to say, well, Ciani's better. Yeah, I just said that. I still think Victor Scott should be playing every day. That's my opinion.
What if I were to tell you, and I know that people will not agree with me, so I will take it on the shins from the comments, and that is fine, that I would have much rather seen. I know that Victor Scott 795 OPS. I get all that, and I'm okay with him playing. I'm also okay with Siani playing. I kind of, with the offense struggling at times, would rather see Nootbaar in center field, and let's go ahead and go with the big bats. I know that puts Burley. I understand that, and Walker on the side of him. I understand all of that.
You can't do that.
But I get it. You can, but also to the people who also say, well, let's start Victor and Siani, can't do that.
No, I don't want to see Victor Scott in left or right field ever unless it's a late game defensive substitution.
And the same with Michael Siani, to be fair. You
No, he
cannot have
he's in the game.
Siani Scott at the bottom. Yeah, that cannot happen.
No, that's dumb. I just think Scott was finally hitting the ball hard. He was finally doing some things that we wanted him to see. We wanted to see him do, and then you take him out. It's just like why'd you bring?
Also played very good defense. Like I'm not going to compare the two. People are going to try to go pull up some stats that have letters in them. I'm not doing that.
It's not even saying, you don't even have to like compare you stats. Siani's way better in center field.
Right, but Scott was playing well. That's all I'm saying.
He was, but that ball Siani dropped or caught but dropped. Scott doesn't even get close to. Like he does not.
Well, we cannot say that.
He would have taken a step. I've watched enough. He would have taken a step back and it would have dropped in front of him.
Well, that's what you're taught. Step back.
No, you're not. Now on drives, you're not. Not if you're good. Like Siani is. Like
Miles going back to 12U baseball there. Like
you're taught to take a step back on because you're not good enough.
Let's relax. I was not being serious.
I thought you were being serious. I was like, that's not what they're taught. They go get the ball.
Do you think that Michael Siani, and I hate when I do this because I am a Siani fan and I love the way he plays. So I am not trying to devalue Michael Siani at all. Please let me preface that. But do you think he has tricked them into believing that he is their center fielder of the future? And what if he is? Like, what if he is Kevin Kiermaier? Right? Like, that's a great career. He's not. Well, not yet. What is he?
Well, does he throw the ball 100 miles? Does he throw the ball 100 miles per hour from center field? Because if he does,
he does not.
He's not Kevin Kiermaier.
But are you concerned about that? Do you believe that's a thing? Do you care that that's a thing? I mean, there's still obviously a lot of questions around VS2. We know that. What do you? I mean, I just don't think we can have a team where Victor Scott's your fourth outfielder.
You can have one where either they're your fourth outfielder, I think, or just who get fourth, fifth. I don't care. An outfielder that's on your bench like that. They would both be valuable in that role for different reasons. I don't think that I think they'd rather have Victor Scott be their everyday outfielder next year. I really do. And I'd also be okay with trading either one of them.
Yeah, we agree.
Like I would trade either one of them if there's any value out there to get. Like I don't think I trade Scott because I don't think his value is as high as it maybe is to the organization. But Siani, like if there's someone that's willing to give you a reliever that you're actually going to use in the offseason, then I would consider it. But I would have no problem with both of them being on the roster. You would just have to make a decision that Victor Scott's your everyday center fielder or he's in AAA again. But
if the Cardinals were to deal Victor or Siani, would they set a major league record for most outfielders traded in the last 8 years?
I don't know. Probably
has to. They have to. It has to be.
Yeah, I don't think I'd trade Victor. Like I think.
No, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't trade either. To be fair,
you got to say you were the center fielder. Do what you did with Mason Wynn. Like give him the job. And if he loses it and he's awful and he's the same way he was at the beginning of this year, then you have Michael Siani. Like it's a good problem to have at this point. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, moving forward to see what they do. This weekend you're right. The Mariners do not score runs. There is no doubt about that. They do not score runs. But they also don't give them up. So that, I mean, I wonder what the unders are going to be this weekend.
The Cardinals offense looks pretty good. I don't know. Who are they facing? Miller,
Gilbert, Castillo.
I mean, that's not even I guess, they're not facing Kirby, so I guess that's a plus.
Well, Woo's been their best. Brian Woo's been one of the best pitchers in baseball lately. So,
yeah, I mean, there's really no, like, you can't, like, any of the 3 games. I mean, any game you play against manager, you're facing someone that's really good, is what I meant to say. So, correct. I don't know. They need to sweep them. That's where we're at in the season. If they want
you have to. Like, if you want a chance, you have to. If
you want a chance, you got to sweep them.
Yeah.
That would put you at a 5-game winning streak. And you also need the Rockies to act like they're a real baseball team for once. I'm getting really pissed off about this, by the way. Some of these baseball teams can't even try to win baseball games. The Rockies are so bad. So bad.
They're trying to be the White Sox.
They're not even putting up like any type of effort against the Braves.
They
It's like
might be tanking, thinking
every
that they're
day
getting they
the
might not
players
understand the
aren't.
rules.
Like, why is Bud Black still the manager? What has he done to earn that job?
I
They've been
assume
good
he's
once since he's been there.
wouldn't you assume he's gone at the end of the year?
No, I want it. They didn't trade Trevor Story when he was a free agent the next year. Herman
Yeah.
Marquez is still there.
Well, I think it's a contract thing, right? Didn't they extend him? Like that's probably why.
I don't know why they gave him and Kyle Freeland an extension. Kyle Freeland's like one that like a top 20 paid pitcher in baseball that's consistently like a 5.5 ERA.
Well, I think that's what you're going to have in Colorado. Like ask Mike
No,
Hampton.
Mike Hampton was bad there too.
He what? That's thank you. You just made my point.
I don't know. They're literally the worst organization of all time.
They're pretty rough. Before we get to anything else, shout out to the guy across from me who is now the sideline reporter for the University of Illinois hockey. Look at you. You are, like you said, you are the Jim Hayes of Illinois hockey now.
Yep.
I expect the same type questions. I expect the same level of dryness. I expect all of that. Also, maybe a little personality on the sideline. Let's go.
I'm going to
While you're at it, will you wear a pin that says the Hard Nine Podcast?
No. No. I'm going to meet the team today, so we'll see how that goes.
Do you have a suit yet?
No, dude.
This man thought he could go to Target and buy a large.
I wasn't at Target. I was at Kohl's and they did have my size. The problem was they didn't have like not Kohl's, sorry, Macy's. They did all the suit jackets. They didn't have matching pants, so all the blacks were like slightly different, and I couldn't do it.
Go to Men's Warehouse. They run sales every damn day. They will fit you. They will do everything. They will make you look nice.
I don't even know where to go for that. So
I'm just saying, go. Like seriously, go invest in your future.
Okay, let's not do this on the podcast. I don't know why anyone.
I'm proud of you. I think our entire fan base is going to be proud of you, and we're all now going to be tuned in on U of I hockey. I'm excited. Marquee Sports, baby, let's go.
Okay.
Why do you look like that?
I don't know what you want me to say. What was the correct?
I think it's awesome. I think it's absolutely
I'm glad.
awesome.
Thank you. But
that's all I wanted was a thank you. That was it, to give you your flowers. The man who pats himself on the back 47 times a show gets flowers and he can't even say thank you. So thank you for saying thank you. I appreciate it.
I don't even pat myself. You always say that. And I literally just don't ever do it.
You have gotten way better, by the way. And maybe it's because you're wrong now all the time. That is possible.
No, it's because the Cardinals suck and I have no energy anymore.
It's pretty rough. Hey, you know who does kick off on Sunday, though? Speaking of going from one season to another, my Saints. Also, I do believe, talked to Mike.
Saints.
Talked to Mike Triplett not too long ago, and then saw some stuff on Twitter. I'm a little fired up about this Saints team. If we're gonna be honest, everybody is on the Falcons bandwagon for some reason. They're still the Falcons. Falcons gonna Falcon.
Reason, to be fair, they have a lot of talent.
Falcons are. We are trusting a man who's 37 years old, who's never really won, coming off an Achilles.
He still gets
That's what you're doing.
Well, who thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl?
I have heard. Have you not been watching? Shouldn't, by the way.
Probably. No, I don't
watching ESPN. A lot of predicting the Falcons as an under. Like, what are we doing here?
Why does anyone watch ESPN predictions and care about what they say?
Yeah, I agree. I also people sleeping on the Saints defense. That defense is loaded. We will see new offensive coordinator. I'm pretty excited. We're going to the bar to watch it on Sunday.
Yeah. I'd be more excited if they had a quarterback that was different than the one they have.
I think, well, if you looked at, I saw a stat not too long ago, like his last 7 games, he was on par with like some
really good.
Very, very good. It does feel like Michael Thomas being out of the building. Thank you.
Let's not.
Well, it does. I'm just letting you know that's a feeling I have. I've also kind of been told that by people who know. Olave looks great. Shaheed looks like a dude. The dude now. Like Taysom Hill, captain. Like I love what they're doing. I love what they're doing. And Dennis Allen also knows if he does not win, he will be fired. Like there is no more.
We thought that last year too.
No. I did not. I wanted it. I did not. And Alvin's selling his house and getting into real estate. That man wants to win.
Yeah, I just can't get excited for. I can never imagine in my head Dennis Allen lifting the Lombardi Trophy.
I just want us to beat Carolina on Sunday. That's all I care about.
Maybe as a defensive coordinator, if they let him raise it, then. But that's it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, you got anything? Let's take a look just really quickly. Do you have anything else on the Cardinals front? Because I'm out of. I don't have much else to talk about.
No, win like 10 in a row, and then maybe we can get excited.
To win 10 in a row, that means each of our starting pitchers gets one start, right? Because we have 10 of them, it seems like
They
now,
get
and they don't
yeah, right.
know who to
But
start.
yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. I really don't.
No, I figured we'd skip over that. I just thought I'd point it out a little
Yeah.
bit there.
To win 10 in a row, they need one of their players has to have like 4 homers in that 10 game span. So Goldie, get hot.
Well, he is hot. Like he's been really hot.
Okay, get hot and hit the balls over the fence instead of hitting doubles.
All right, I'm gonna run through rapid fire questions. I just want your answers on the rest of the league and the races right now. Okay.
Okay.
Who wins the AL East right now? Just so you know, the Orioles are a half game up on the Yankees.
Yeah, I know. I think the Orioles will win it. I think both teams are incredibly overrated, and I don't think either of them have a chance to win the World Series.
Okay. All right. Who wins the Central? Cleveland 4.5 up on Minnesota right now. The Royals, by the way, in free falling.
Yeah. How many games back are they?
The Royals are also 4.5 back. My apologies. I read it
Okay,
wrong.
and the Guardians, they've been the best team the whole year.
We agree on that. I think by the way, I know the Guardians don't have their normal top level like McKenzie, like they don't have like Bieber, they don't have those guys like that are pitching at that level that they've had in the past.
Their
The
pitching is not good.
Carrasco's, but I do feel like that is a sleeper team because of their offense finally, which shout out.
Okay,
The West is
Tommy
over.
Pham,
I owe you
yeah.
$10 on the West. So
Yeah, you do actually, and you owe me $16 for Zoom, by the way. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, did you see Tommy Pham's home run for the Royals
I did.
yesterday? That's he only does cool things right after he unpacks.
I
Um,
did.
yeah, the Seattle's not good, and you thought the Rangers had a chance, which is still funny to me when I was screaming the entire time that they
You were
should have.
right. You were
They're
right.
eight and a
Okay,
half
now
back right
let's get to
now.
the wild card race because those are way more fun. Does Boston or Seattle? I mean, my God, Detroit is only 5.5 games out. Isn't that wild?
Okay, let's
Do
talk.
they
Let's
have a
talk.
shot? Do you
No.
think any of those teams? You think that's pretty much standard? The only race really left in the AL, in our opinion, Baltimore, New York for that wild card or that number one or
Yeah, I
number one
mean,
seed.
let's put it this way: the Tigers and the Red Sox are the same amount back that the Cardinals are, and this is how we feel about the Cardinals. So,
Yeah.
no, I think the wild card's probably done unless the Royals lose like 10 in a row.
If you're a Tigers fan, you kind of have to be excited though, right, for the
I
future
wouldn't be.
potentially.
I wouldn't
Huh?
be. That
You
organization's horrible.
well, I think is Miggy off the books or like at least kind of off the books next
It
year.
doesn't matter. Like they don't. Spencer Torkelson was like their guy, and he can't even hit in AAA.
Well, I mean, we kind of went through that for a while also. So
I mean, the Cardinals have Nolan Arenado, who the Tigers have. Riley Green, that's it.
Riley Green, baby.
That they signed Javier Baez. That organization screwed.
Okay, that's fair. By the way, Guardians with a pretty good shot to get that number one overall. Like they're only half game behind Baltimore in that right now.
Yeah, can I make a hot take? There's one good team in baseball.
The Phillies.
That's it. Every other team
Do
kind
you,
of stinks.
do you mean great? I think you
No,
mean great.
no, seriously. The Dodgers are betting Miguel Rojas fifth every day.
I
Like,
mean
not even
hold
joking.
on. The Guardians
These
are
teams would
20
be
games
bad
over
last year.
500.
Yeah, because every other team's bad.
But
They're
they're
playing bad teams.
but they're not.
Every team is. I'm not even kidding. Every team in baseball besides the Phillies is bad. Like I really think they are. Like no one. Like the Yankees don't have a closer. The Astros were like 10 games below 500 for most of the year. The Guardians don't have one starting pitcher that I even really like all that much. The Orioles have like they're like mid at everything except for their offense is kind of good sometimes.
Yeah,
Um,
Corbin Burns has not been great lately.
no, and then Kyle Bradish is hurt. Grayson Rodriguez is okay. Their bullpens, they don't have a closer really. The Dodgers lineup is the most overrated lineup of all time because they have three really good hitters and that's it. Um, Padres, I like the Padres. I mean, Atlanta's not good. You could not look at that Atlanta lineup. I don't know how they're six and five in their last 10.
Yeah,
They
let
have
me
like
ask you
two
about
hitters,
that. Who gets in, Atlanta or the Mets?
the Cardinals,
Oh, Jesus.
because
No,
the
I'm
Mets
being
suck
serious.
too. I don't get any of this. They're all
Does
bad. Every team I'm looking at here isn't good. That's why the Cardinals are 2 games above 500 because they're playing bad teams every
should
day.
Lindor win the MVP?
No,
Okay.
no, he shouldn't. Like, he's really good, but no. I mean, we have a guy about to go 50-50.
I mean, it's war still not right. Like it's B war. I think
I
F
don't
war. I don't
care.
know.
He's
They're all
about to
different. I
go,
don't understand war
dude,
anymore
he's
at
about to go
all.
50-50, and he's carried carried the Dodgers while Mookie and Freddie have been out for various amounts of time.
At the DH level is the argument made. I agree with you.
I hate that too. I hate the DH stuff. Like, I don't care. I've watched Yordan Alvarez carry the Astros to a World Series.
So again, I'm going to ask you again, who are the 6
that.
teams from the National League in the playoffs? Right now, tell me.
Dude, the Milwaukee Brewers are batting Blake Perkins 6, and they have like almost the best record in the National League. You can't tell me these teams are good. They're not. Okay, I'll say. The Brewers will make it, obviously. Phillies, obviously. Dodgers, obviously. Padres, Diamondbacks, and then some team that doesn't deserve it in the 6th spot. So probably the Braves.
Who will lose in 2 games on the road to the Brewers?
Well, no, maybe they'll end up winning when they shouldn't. Like, that's what will happen. Like, they'll end up getting a ground ball right to Tommy Edman that he'll dive over.
Oh, goodness.
Then everyone will blame Ali Marmol for one of the dumbest defensive plays I've ever seen.
All right. Well, tonight it kicks off. The NFL kicks off tonight.
Do you agree with me, though? Hold on. Do you agree?
Oh, goodness.
These teams suck.
Well, okay. Now, I think there's the old adage that if nobody's great, everybody's good. Right? Is that,
No.
and isn't that what, hold on. If you're Major League Baseball, isn't that what you want? You don't want a team with 110 wins right now. You want parity in your sport.
They're not going to get one team with 100.
And I think you're fine with that if you're Major League Baseball. Like, I understand, like, fans want to love like a great team or whatever, but I think if you're this is what the NFL wants. They don't want a team to be 14-3. They don't really probably want a team to be 13-4. They want teams to be fighting out for that number 1 spot at 12-5 or 11-6. I think this is what you want if you're Major League Baseball. NBA, this is what you want in the NBA.
I'm not saying it's bad for baseball. I'm saying we've seen some great teams over the last like 3 years. Like the Dodgers have had some years, the Braves last year, the Phillies,
the Astros,
the way they're constructed, the Astros. There's not one of those teams right now. Like, not one that looks like that.
Now, the argument would be the Phillies never won a world, have never even got to a world. No, they did. They did not win a World Series.
When we've treated the Phillies like a juggernaut, they're probably going to win like 97 games. Like, that's a great team. That's not a juggernaut. I think, who's the best team in baseball? I think the Houston Astros might be the most well-rounded team in baseball.
Nobody's talking about them at all, and they're going to end up in the World Series.
I mean, you're gonna get a spot, Dad, where you have to face that lineup who we know their experience and how great Altuve, Bregman, and Alvarez are in the playoffs. Kyle Tucker's coming back, by the way. Yes. He's been hurt this entire time they've been doing this. They're gonna have like 7 starters that they like because they're all really good. Because Kikuchi, they fixed him because of course they did. And then you're gonna get to the 6th inning, and then you're gonna say, okay, we're down 1. Here's Brian Abreu, Ryan Presley, and Josh Hader.
Bingo. I agree with you. I agree.
They're winning the World Series.
If you were like to ask me today, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, my pick is Astros Phillies for the World Series. That's my pick.
The rematch of 2022.
That is my pick. I'm not picking a winner because who knows what those rosters look like when we get there. But I'm saying that's my pick because I think no one is talking about them. I would love, by the way, shout out to our guy D. I'd love the Guardians to get in the World Series. And I'm not saying they can't. I'm not saying they won't. I'm saying my pick is the Astros just because I feel like no one's talking about them. I feel like you have a manager now. I mean, Dusty was great, but you got a new guy in there who's like just got him galvanized. Like, yeah, like I feel like they feel like also it's them against the world. And that like you said with that vet, we're seeing Alvarez. Like you got Alvarez, you got Breggy, you got who, by the way, everybody's talking about dealing Bregman, Altuve. You've got all those guys sitting there. And you're getting Kyle Tucker back. I'm with you on that.
Is there even a lineup in the American League that has as good of a top 4 in their lineup as they do?
Well, Altuve,
Alvarez.
The Orioles are pretty good. The Yankees are pretty good. The Guardians are pretty good.
Dude, name me a foursome in the American League that's even close to Altuve, Alvarez, Tucker, and Bregman. Name me one.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't the argument be what? Gunnar, Rutschman,
I'm close.
Santander.
Adley can barely hit right-handed pitching. He's like 60%. He's like 20% below league average against.
I'm just saying. Well, yeah, but it's not like Bregman's had a massive year this year, by the way. So, like, you can't just say. That's what I'm saying. Like, I bet Adley's stats are better than Breggy's. That's what I'll say.
No, they're not. There's
really?
No shot.
To be fair, I have not been following along with Adley. But also, to be fair, when you have Gunnar and Santander, who are both having elite level seasons. I'm going to say that they're there. And then also when you have Judge.
You only name me, first off, you only name me 3 hitters.
I get it.
Ryan O'Hearn's on the same level as Kyle Tucker or Yordan Alvarez.
Is he in their top 4? O'Hearn?
He bets third a lot.
When
Alex
also, I
Bregman,
will
by the
say,
way,
when you
has
have Judge and Soto in your top four, like that's pretty hard to argue against.
who are the other two?
You put some goddamn respect on Austin Wells.
No,
Dude's a stud
he's a catcher batting fourth.
who's been very, very good. I'm
He's
saying
good. He's
I
not.
think you're also overvaluing, like Tucker hasn't played, so I think you're
By the way,
overvaluing that, and I think
Alex
you're
Bregman's been like
overvaluing
way
Brady.
better than Adley Rutschman.
Okay, all right. Well, I did not know that.
Adley Rutschman's only 12% above league average this year as a hitter. No, first, no, dude. Then walk Judge and pitch to Soto. Literally all you have to do. And
Well,
you're
you
fine.
can't do that, Stephen A. Smith,
Sorry,
because Soto hits in front of Judge.
Soto has to bet 700 for Aaron Judge to see a pitch.
You just pulled a Stephen A. on our podcast, by the way.
I wasn't saying in that order.
Well,
So Soto literally has
hold
to
on.
get
So
on
you're going to
base.
pitch to Soto and then walk Judge?
Hold
That's
on.
what you're going to
Soto
do?
has to get on base like at a 600 clip for Aaron Judge to even see pitches for the majority of his at bats. So if Soto's not on base, they're screwed.
That we agree. Yes.
So who
Right.
who are the other two? Dad Volpe and LeMahieu?
So are you picking the Astros Phillies also?
Dude, the Astros lineup is better than everyone you just named.
I don't know. First of all, now I'm not going to say that because I have not studied all the lineups and I'm not going down
I'll
that
say
rabbit
it.
hole. I'm not. You're
I'll
going to
say
get
it.
cooked for
Those
this,
teams
and
you just
I'm
named-
maybe rightfully so.
Those teams you just named with like Gunnar and Santander, and then you've got Naylor and Jose Ramirez. Those are four great hitters. Okay, I'll take Alvarez and Altuve in the playoffs over all of them as a tandem. First off.
Valid.
And then you add me a Bregman and a Tucker. Who's close?
Okay.
They're
We
not.
shall
They're
see.
not close. All those guys I just named have won at least one World Series.
I'm not
And then-
arguing against the team I picked. I'm simply saying I don't know that their top four is better than Baltimore, New York, and
You
Cleveland.
can't even
They
name
might
me the
be.
fourth best hitter on Baltimore. The one guy you named me was
Well-
a guy who's 12% above league average against as a catcher.
We'll see.
Adley Rutschman's entering overrated territory
Okay. Why are we doing
because he's
this right
12%
now?
above league average, and you just named him up next to Kyle Tucker. That's why.
Do we have
normal people
anybody
don't do
above
that.
12% above league average on our team?
Yeah, we have a lot of people that are better than him.
OPS
Mason Wynn's better
plus?
than him. Mason Wynn's a rookie shortstop, and he's hitting better than him. And we're talking about Adley
Okay.
Rutschman, the superstar.
That's one.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Like
Burleson, Newbar is a better OPS than him. Fun fact with your Lars Newbar hate.
OPS or OPS plus?
I mean, I would assume.
Newbar has a 104, so he's 4% above league average.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at baseball
What's
reference.
his OPS?
His OPS is
735?
735.
And he's only at 104?
104 is his OPS plus, yes.
How does that make any sense?
Well, I don't understand how they calculate any of these numbers. Someone does, and they're going to try to explain it to me, and I'm not going to read it.
So hold on, this is bullshit. Adley has a 732 OPS.
Yeah.
So he's a worse OPS than Lars Nootbaar, and he's 8% better. They're fudging his numbers, so he looks better than he is. Like, there's no way you could tell me that.
I don't know. That's a
that-
great question. Look, you might have found you
Well,
found the
Baltimore-
flaw.
If he was right-handed in Baltimore, okay, because it's really hard to hit home runs right-handed. He bats left-handed majority of the time there, so I'm saying that's bullshit.
All right. Well, there you
And
go.
Lars Nootbaar plays in Busch Stadium, which is like notoriously hard to hit home runs in.
I had somebody on Twitter the other day tell me that Lars should be the fourth outfielder. So there's that.
Either way, we know. We just stumbled across. The Lars Nootbaar has a higher OPS than Adley Rutschman.
He does. Now he's played
And
way
he's
less
batting
games.
sixth on a non-playoff.
Way less
team.
games.
I don't care.
Well, you have to care.
I don't.
Well, you should. All right, let's get out of here. Hey, NFL kicks off tonight. Who you got? Chiefs in KC against the Ravens. They're gonna.
The Chiefs
I guess
own the Ravens.
does feel that way. Chiefs at home feels like everybody. This happens every year. Every team wants to every prognosticator and expert wants to tell me how every team is better than the Chiefs until someone beats the Chiefs. There's only, in my opinion, there's only one guy who can beat the Chiefs. It's not Patrick Mahomes because I hate that, and that's Joey B. And now that Jamar Chase is out there, maybe that does happen. But tonight, I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking the -2.5, and let's roll with it. Tomorrow night, Eagles at home against the Packers. What do you got? Tomorrow night, yep, in Brazil. Fingers crossed everybody is okay in Brazil.
Okay, who is it? Packers and who?
Packers and Eagles.
I mean, I guess I'll go. I'm going
1.5. Eagles 1.5 favorite.
Packers.
Okay,
Packers.
I'm taking the Eagles. So good.
I think the
Good.
Packers. I think that Jordan Love. I think he's going to be really good this year.
Everybody seems to feel that way. He is on one of my fantasy teams, so we do like that.
Yeah, you got him late too.
Yep. Yep.
Do I start?
All right.
Do I start Mostert or
No,
Doomsday?
we're not doing this. We are not becoming a fantasy football show. We tried that before. It worked for a little bit when we had 12 listeners. We're
It
not
didn't
doing
work.
that anymore.
No, we had
Hey,
three
by the
hours
way,
of
thank you
podcast.
everybody who is on here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following. Thank you for caring enough about a lame ass product in the St. Louis Cardinals so you follow us. We appreciate that. Now become a University of Illinois hockey fan. But for this weekend, go to the games if you want to. If you don't, we understand it. However, the team could feed off of that. Maybe you can get tickets for $0 on StubHub and pay the fees. So there is that. Anything else you got before we get out of here?
Nope.
All right. We shall talk to you soon. Go Cards.